it's about 11 a.m. and I am trying to wrap up the clothes washing and rinsing that I was doing last night. As I keep mentioning, I do a lot of hand washing of small clothing items. So, because I get aggressively harassed, and a few times I was assaulted when I was trying to do laundry in the laundry room of this building complex, because the Greenville Group chooses to house large numbers of aggressive criminal male offenders in this building complex. That's a fact. The housing court has confirmed that. Legal agencies have confirmed that. Agents working for attorneys have confirmed that the Greenville Group houses large numbers of male sex offenders and criminals in this building, because these are single occupancy units and you can't really have a wife or kids if you live in this building. None of these asswipes have a wife or kids that they seem to be connected to in any way. They might have kids, they might have wives, but they don't live with them. So the result of that is that any female that seems to live in this building through no fault of their own — I chose to live here because I had a lot of student loans to pay back and needed a place that was really affordable — then these asswipes just won't leave these women alone. So I try to hand wash my clothes as much as I can in this sink and in tubs like this one. And yesterday I wasn't able to do that because the water from this tap was continuously oily, slick, slimy, foul smelling for 4 hours. Every time I tried to fill up this tub throughout the afternoon, the water was just unusable. It was sickening even just to feel it and smell it. It coats everything that you try to rinse off with it with an oily, thick, slimy residue that often has a foul smell. And because the Greenville Group has bragged about using a career criminal named Jasmine Irizarry, who herself has claimed to be a structural engineer and an IT expert who gets paid to solve problems, well, then they're using a criminal fixer to engage in some very illegal acts, such as contaminating the water to this tap, which also is along the same intake pipe that feeds the taps in my bathroom, and presumably also feeds the taps in the bathroom down the hall, because the water from the taps in the bathroom down the hall throughout the day yesterday were also not usable. The water was thick, slimy, and oily, regardless of which tap I tried to use. And only the water from the bathroom diagonally across from this one all the way down the hall on the other side of the floor was okay to use. That one does not seem to be fed by the same intake pipe as the bathroom on the same side of this floor. Anyway, now the water is okay to use. I'm actually finally able to fill it up and to hand wash a few small items in it that I was trying to wash yesterday afternoon. As I reported in two voicemails to the Greenville Group yesterday afternoon, I was completely unable to use this water for anything at all. It was slimy, oily, thick, greasy, and foul smelling, and you can't even rinse an apple under this kind of water. It's toxic. And up until now, so today it's right around 11 a.m., I was perfectly able to use this water without any problems. And now it has become, again, as soon as I started trying to use it to fill up this tub, the water to this tap started getting affected once again by the same person and deliberate interference activity and contamination activity, as the same person has been doing to this water since 2019. It's Irizarry, the psycho scum, asswipe, career thug, who has bragged on social media to contaminating the water to this tap. And right now I can't use it for anything. I was able to successfully fill up this tub right here and the water is fine. But then as soon as I started to continue to use this water, it is now becoming extremely gritty, tacky, and gluey. So she does something to the water, and she's admitted to doing this. This isn't a secret. This person is a stupid criminal who likes to brag about her abilities, just like her handler, Oleg Eliseyev at the Greenville Group, likes to brag about how he's using her abilities. Everyone is really proud of Irizarry's psycho scum, career thug abilities and activities because they think there's something good about contaminating the water to somebody's tap. And right now I can't use the water to this tap because it has become, over the last 20 minutes, tacky, gluey, gritty, and it's not even water. Somebody is using something, as I have said in the past, to curdle the water. When you do something to curdle something, you are altering the molecular structure of that substance. And Irizarry, claiming to be some kind of structural engineer, I'm assuming she received some kind of training on how to contaminate and tamper with various parts of building infrastructure, as she herself has claimed to being able to do. And now I can't use this water once again. I was able to briefly use it for probably about 20 minutes to fill up this tub so I can start rinsing off and washing some small items. But after that, this water is now unusable once again, and it's only 11 a.m. So it's going to be a long afternoon of me trying to run this water to flush out whatever contaminants or interference is going on with the water that comes out of the pipe that shares pipes and a wall with the bathroom of 78, where Irizarry likes to hang out for hours at a time, likes to let me know that she's right there by smacking the wall behind this sink, as she was doing yesterday afternoon multiple times. And she also likes to smoke behind this wall to let me know that she's right there, and likes to fill this entire corner right here with intense amounts of marijuana and cigar smoke that never come from the hallway, but that are so intense that I have to keep my window open, air conditioner going, even when it's cold out, and it affects the quality of my voice and my ability to speak. That's what you've been hearing over the last few weeks, with my voice being significantly affected by something that is in the air in this unit and also in the water. Whenever I take a shower, either in my shower or the bathroom down the hall, there's some type of very nasty chemical in that water that causes my skin to burn. And then I have to rinse my skin off with store-bought Poland Springs water that I should never have to bring into a bathroom to rinse off with, when the water from the shower is contaminated and causes my skin to start burning. But that keeps happening. That's because the Greenville Group, as I was informed several days ago, and also a year ago, by people who know what's going on here in the real estate market here in Boston, said that the Greenville Group is just Russian mafia. They don't make any repairs. Their business model is to basically rent out large numbers of subpar rental units, and then they deliberately don't make repairs and just use it as a profit-making system. They let themselves get dragged into court repeatedly because it's actually cheaper for them to just go to court rather than have to pay for repairs to their rental units that they rent out in large numbers, for obviously just rental income. I mean, they're not doing it to create and provide a safe and functional living space. They're doing it simply for the profit. And that's straight from people who know the housing business, who also know the Russian community. The landlords of this building are Russian, and that's a fact. And they operate in very shady, sketchy ways because they're from that part of the world where certain sketchy things are okay over there, but not okay over here. Yeah, so the more I touch this water and try to just use it to rinse my hand off, the stickier, grittier, and gluier it becomes. And because Irizarry seems to be very fond of using a directed energy device, which is basically a device that harnesses and concentrates electromagnetic output, such as a type of output that is emitted by cell phones, laptops, tablets, routers, and other everyday electronics. She seems to be very fond of using that type of device that concentrates these outputs into a harmful, steady stream that you can direct at someone or something. I'm assuming that she's using the electromagnetic output from whatever DED, directed energy device, that she's using to curdle the water to this tap. It's basically being cooked. The water's not hot. You don't have to heat it to cook it. You can just microwave it using a directed energy device, because directed energy devices emit various types of electromagnetic wavelengths, such as microwaves, such as radio waves. Those are electromagnetic waves of different lengths, and microwaves are the most harmful. They literally can heat things up, but not temperature-wise. They literally just alter the molecular structure of that substance. And then she basically curdles the water so that it's not water, it's something else. It's cooked water. So even though the water is not hot, it doesn't mean it's not being molecularly altered by the microwave emitting directed energy device that Irizarry, the psycho scum, asswipe career thug who works for the Greenville Group, has admitted to using on social media. That's how you know you're dealing with somebody who has nothing else going on in their lives, when they literally brag about their criminal activities, telling you, oh, well, it's not even that concentrated. It's not even on that high. Well, she's right, because if she was using it at a higher output frequency or higher frequency output, I would be dead, or I would be in the hospital. You can obviously adjust the output to directed energy devices. I'm assuming, I wouldn't know, I'm not the one using it. So right now the water to this tap can't be used, and there's also a significant leak under the sink. The leak is evidently coming from one of the valves under here, because it is always coming from right here. So you see this valve right here, there's a drip coming underneath this valve, and this washcloth right here, as you can see, check this out, I just squeezed it out like 10 minutes ago. Look at all this water, just look at all this water coming out of the washcloth. I mean, that's how much water is accumulating under this sink through no fault of my own. It happens anytime you turn on the warm water tap. There's dripping under here, and then there's also dripping coming from under here. These are the valves. This has nothing to do with me. I'm not the one who installed these valves. I certainly don't even know how to operate them. And these little knobs right here are set really tight, so you can't even adjust them. So there's something, it's not even the valve, maybe it's like the hose of the valve that might be cracked, right? Because it's like a rubbery kind of hose. Maybe it's cracked and that's where the water's coming out of. But Inspectional Services issued a citation to the Greenville Group on July 12th for a leak under the sink, and then another citation on July 31st because the Greenville Group had failed to fix the leak. And that was, what, a month and a half ago now, because we're September 8th, and they haven't fixed it. Unreal, unreal. People are right. This is a criminal Russian slumlord that does absolutely nothing to fix anything. And that's why they're always in court with the city of Boston, because the city of Boston is the one who oversees enforcement of the housing code and the sanitary code. And the Greenville Group is constantly in violation of both. You know what? And with that leak under there, I'm pretty sure there's probably mold in here at this point. I'm constantly coughing for no reason. And my friend and I were talking because she has a condo that she's renting out, and they had to test for mold. And mold literally causes symptoms that are consistent with allergies, such as joint pain, constant coughing and sneezing, fatigue, etc. It's just bad. And with all that water accumulating under there, regardless of how many rags I put down and how many notices I sent to the Greenville Group, then obviously there's going to be mold in here, as well as cockroaches, mice, and bad water that cannot be used.
Our office hours are from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Our office is currently closed. If this is an emergency, please press 1. Otherwise, press 2 to leave a voicemail for the front office.
Invalid input. Please try again.
After the tone, please leave a detailed message with your name and number so we may get back to you when we return.
Hi there. It's right around 11:20 a.m. or so on Sunday, September 8th, 2024. I'm calling for a third time within the last 24 hours to notify the Greenville office that I am unable to use the water from my kitchen tap at this time for any purpose whatsoever, because your psycho scum asswipe career thug named Jasmine Irizarry, who has admitted to contaminating the water to my tap on social media, continues to be permitted by you guys, her handlers, to contaminate the water to my tap. And this is affecting the water from my tap to the point that it cannot be used safely for any kind of cooking, food preparation, drinking, toothbrushing, face washing, or even clothes washing, because it is so distorted in terms of what it actually is. It is no longer water. It is something else. Yesterday, I reported that the water to my tap was thick, oily, slimy, and greasy. And now it is no longer thick, oily, slimy, and greasy, but it has become extremely tacky, gritty, gluey, and sticky, so that whatever you try to rinse off with it becomes immediately sticky, tacky, and gritty, and you can't rinse anything off. It's literally like rinsing stuff off with glue. Irizarry, as you know, is a psychopath. I've been informed of this by multiple police officers and detectives, and you guys are choosing to house her in this building continuously, as Oleg Eliseyev admitted in March of 2023, when he said that she no longer was being housed in Unit 78 and that Unit 78 was vacant and empty, but that Irizarry is still living in this building. And as he put it, maybe I'll move her across the street or maybe I won't. Well, obviously he didn't, because Irizarry continues to affect the safety, usability, and quality of the tap water to my tap, which now is affecting the water of the bathroom on the same side of this floor down the hall, because that bathroom lies along the same intake pipe as the taps to my kitchen and to my bathroom lie. Irizarry has somehow managed to, I'm assuming, as I was informed by one of your maintenance managers, clamp a saddle valve around the intake pipe of the water to my unit, which also feeds the water to the bathroom down the hall. And then she does whatever you guys let her do to that water, presumably using an easy to use and obtain saddle valve. A saddle valve is a simple piece of hardware that you can buy at any hardware store for about $18. You can attach a nozzle to the saddle valve. Once you've clamped it around the intake pipe that brings water up from the street, from the water main out on the street into the building, and then you can pump whatever contamination and filth that you want into the intake pipe to that water. That is what has been happening with Jasmine Irizarry, your career psycho scum asswipe thug that you have bragged about using and whose abilities you have told me about in terms of her ability to use surveillance devices in other people's units. You've referred to her as your surveillance expert. Mr. Oleg Lisev has praised Jasmine Irizarry's hacking abilities and cybercrime abilities, telling me in person, oh, she's so good. She can hack into anything. She can take care of anything. Well, obviously, you guys are using her as a criminal fixer. And the result of that is that I cannot use the water to my kitchen tap or safely shower in the water that comes out of my shower head or now the bathroom down the hall without getting significantly sick and incurring skin problems and burns as a result of the chemicals and contamination that Irizarry continues to basically introduce and pump into the intake pipe to my unit, which feeds the bathroom down the hall. I am recording this voicemail for legal purposes. I will be following up with written notifications to you and your attorneys. And as I mentioned yesterday, I will now be filing criminal charges against Oleg Alisiev and the Greenville Group for permitting Jasmine Irizarry, who has admitted in writing to contaminating the water to my tap, for criminally contaminating the water, not just to my tap, but to the bathroom down the hall, which is a class action lawsuit, because now this is affecting the health and safety of other tenants, whether they know it or not. This is being recorded, and I am going to take this to court. Thank you. Well, it's been delivered, folks. So now I can't use the water to my tap, but at least I have grounds for a lawsuit. And I've been recording these types of voicemails for years. I mean, this started happening in 2019 when Irizarry, the psycho scum career asswipe, started engaging in some very extensive plumbing work against the pipes to my kitchen tap on a Sunday afternoon for several hours, when the Greenville Group said they were not doing any work in that bathroom and do not work on Sundays. So you can do the math on that one. What was Irizarry doing? Hammering and using some type of what seemed like a blowtorch against the pipes to my tap on a Sunday afternoon. And that's when the water to this unit started getting really foul and unusable, contaminated, and illness inducing. Well, obviously, you know, that's pretty much a no-brainer right there.